You likely believe you are in complete control of your thoughts, making every daily decision with a clear, rational mind. But just below the surface, your choices are frequently guided by hardwired shortcuts and mental traps that function automatically. To conserve energy, the brain filters your surroundings and makes snap judgments on your behalf, often without your conscious awareness. These hidden cognitive flaws were the primary focus of psychologist Daniel Kahneman's most significant research. His work mapping the geography of these mental errors was so significant, it earned him the Nobel Prize in behavioral economics. These shortcuts are constantly at work, and without a way to identify them, you are navigating the world using a deeply flawed map. When meeting someone new, the brain struggles with limited information and immediately jumps to conclusions to form a complete story. Consider Alan and Ben. Alan is intelligent, industrious, critical, and envious. Ben has the exact same traits in reverse. Most view Alan more favorably. This is the halo effect. The first positive trait creates a glow outshining the negatives, reinterpreting flaws as byproducts of intelligence. This blinded Wall Street to Bernie Madoff. His reputation as a legendary investor was the halo that made people ignore numbers that made no mathematical sense. We see it in hiring as well. A graduate from a prestigious university often receives a halo of honesty and competence that hasn't been proven. Our brains also hallucinate patterns through the Baader-Meinhof phenomenon, making a new word seem like it's suddenly everywhere, and overestimate how much others notice our mistakes. Because the brain is desperate to categorize data instantly, your initial perception of people and events is rarely based on objective reality. Once perception is skewed, your logic becomes surprisingly easy to manipulate using nothing more than arbitrary numbers. This chart tracks an experiment where experienced judges rolled dice before sentencing. Those who rolled a 9 gave an average sentence of 8 months. Those who rolled a 3 gave only 5. Retailers use this same anchoring effect. By placing a $150 item at the front of a store, they rewire your logic so a $50 item in the back seems like a bargain. We also invent a balancing force in random events, falsely believing that a streak of heads makes a tails more likely on the next flip. This gambler's fallacy has real-world stakes. Research found asylum judges were 19% less likely to approve an applicant if they had just approved the previous 2. Logic also breaks down when faced with too many choices. In a jam experiment, reducing the selection from 24 jars to 6 increased actual purchases by 10 times. When we have too many options and too much data, our logic doesn't improve. It leads to paralysis, regret, and a higher risk of being misled. But what happens when we are confronted with facts that directly contradict our desires? We experience cognitive dissonance. Like Aesop's fox who decided the grapes he couldn't reach were sour, we invent new beliefs to soothe the stress of being wrong. To protect our ego, we use confirmation bias to actively filter out the truth, only seeking evidence that reinforces what we already believe. Modern echo chambers weaponize this, using frequent repetition to make fiction feel like truth, simply because the brain confuses familiarity with accuracy. Our need to be correct narrows our perspective until we are trapped in a reality where we only see what we want to see. If you don't recognize these biases, you remain a vulnerable target for casinos, algorithmic echo chambers, and high-pressure sales tactics. These hardwired errors cannot be deleted from your brain, but you can build friction to stop them from making your decisions for you. When incomplete tasks stress you out at night, the Zeigarnik effect, writing down a plan can quiet the mind. To neutralize the halo effect, gather ideas independently before a group discussion begins. To fight confirmation bias, you must think gray, avoiding the hive mind of your group and actively seeking facts that exist between the extremes. True intellectual capability isn't having a perfect brain. It's having the humility to notice your own flaws before they act on your behalf.